Hello, everybody. This is Nick Totero, Professor of Information Technologies and Computer Science, Lakeland Community College. All right, let's talk about network forensics and a little bit of incident response. Now, network forensics can be an entire course unto itself. Actually, we talk about different forensics things in other courses when we're dealing with networks. Networks have become our backbone, has been the infrastructure that we use to communicate from one point to another. If we were to look at just networking in general, the general term that I use for networking, you probably have heard this many, many times, is when two or more digital devices wish to share information with each other. Now, they could be sharing files, they could be sharing streaming videos, you name it, but it's just basically two digital devices that wish to share. All right. Going back 20, 30, 40 years of networking, we have to look at how networks work, right? And in the next series of videos, we're going to be looking at how networks basically keep track of things. When we talk about network forensics, for the most part, we are looking at log files. Now, for some people, log files, myself included here, can be extremely boring. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but they provide a great wealth of information. We're going to be looking at some pre canned log files. Now, understand something. Again, I've talked about this in other videos. We have to suspend reality just a little bit. I can't go to an organization like Lakeland Community College and say, show me your log files. Can I have copies of your log files? Because there could be sensitive information on those log files. I can't run log files or extensive log files on my own personal network at home. Again, there could be sensitive data on those log files. Could I run um, a network within my computer? Yes. For those of you who've taken my ethical hacking course, yeah, I have a little network that we can build or you can build at home. But we wouldn't get the extension or the comprehension of all the potential log files there. Also, there are what I refer to as built-in or native log files. For example, if you are running a DNS server, whether it be on a Linux or a Microsoft platform or on a proprietary box, chances are that does have a log file associated with it. And there's kind of the rub. How do I use log files? How do I get log files? What log files did I particularly use? Now, the good news is a DNS log file, a DHCP log file, they're going to generally have the same information. They're going to be maybe slightly formatted different, but they're going to have the same information associated with them. So, through some research on the internet, it took me all of like 20 minutes. I heard of the product before, but you know what? I had to go out there and look for it again. We're going to suspend reality and we're going to use some pre-canned log files from an organization called Zeek. Zeek, you know what? Let's go up to my screen and let's look at Zeek here. Sorry about that little jump there. There's something going on with my computer. If we look at the screen here, we have what is Zeek? Again, I favor for educational purposes, so I don't have to spend money, open source solutions. But we've discovered that a lot of organizations go and do open source solutions. But basically, Zeek is a passive. Now, in the world of networking and in general, but in networking, we generally have two concepts that we call active and passive. Active means that it's an ongoing event. We might be talking about intrusion prevention systems, tend to be an active participant on the network. They're constantly monitoring and looking for activities, and if activity occurs, then we alert it. Passive means we're basically collecting data for use later on. So Zeek is a passive open source network analyzer that creates a series of log files. Now, the interesting thing about Zeek, or what I find about interesting about Zeek, is they have different formats you can use to look at their particular log files. And through the course of several different videos, you'll see me looking at, their canned log files and kind of explaining what is going on here. Now, these videos are not trying to teach you Zeek. Zeek is a comprehensive package. You would have to install it on your particular network. So we're not trying to teach you Zeek. We're just going to be using the Zeek log files in their different things, right? So this is just an intro video to network forensics. We're going to be looking at different log files, and we'll chop them up into small manageable parts. And then we will just analyze the actual network traffic that Zeek would provide to us. This is not a Zeek course, okay? Don't have the time for that. We're just going to be using their standard log files. With that being said, let's go learn something.